Welcome to J&R Ministry for kids. We have been learning about Abraham and his son, Isaac. When Isaac was a grown man, Abraham wanted him to marry someone who believed in God. In today's lesson, we will learn about how Abraham helped his son find a wife. Abraham was a great man of God. God had promised Abraham that someday he would have children, grandchildren, and then they would have children. God promised Abraham that he would have many, many descendants. God wanted Abraham's descendants to love him just as much as Abraham did. But Abraham's son, Isaac, was not even married yet. Abraham knew it was time to find a wife for his Isaac. But not just any woman would do. Abraham wanted Isaac to marry a woman who believed in God. Then Isaac and his wife could have children and teach them to love God too. Abraham thought about all the women who lived nearby in Canaan. They did not love God. They worshipped false gods and bowed down to them. Abraham did not want Isaac to marry a woman from Canaan. He remembered when he used to live in Haran. Many of Abraham's relatives still live near Haran in a place called Nahar. His relatives believed in God. This would be the perfect place to find a wife for Isaac. So Abraham called in his most trusted servant and said, "Promise me that you will find a wife for Isaac. Make sure that she is not a Canaanite. Go to my home country, to my relatives, and find Isaac a wife there." The servant did as Abraham asked. He took along camels loaded with gifts to give to the family, to the father of whoever the bride would be. He prayed, "O Lord God, be kind to me and Abraham today. I'm going to stand here to watch the young women, come to get the water. I will say, 'May I have a drink?' May the one who answers have a drink, and I will water your camels too. Be the one you have chosen for Isaac's wife." The servant had not even finished his prayer when a beautiful and kind girl named Rebecca came to the well to get water. The servant said, "Please give me a drink." "Of course, take some of my water." Then Rebecca saw his thirsty camels and said, "I'll get water for the camels too." It was hard work, but Rebecca ran back and forth to the well to get water for the thirsty camels. Finally, all the camels had plenty of water to drink. Abraham's servant was so happy God had answered his prayer. He knew Rebecca was the right wife for Isaac. The servant gave Rebecca 2 gold bracelets and a gold nose ring. "Whose daughter are you? Is there room for my camels and me to stay overnight at your house?" he asked. "My father is Bethuel, the son of Nahor. Yes, there is a room at our house. I will go and tell my family." How thankful the servant was. Of all the people he could meet on his journey, God had led him straight to Abraham's relatives. The servant went to Rebekah's home and explained who he was and why he was there. Rebekah's father, Bethuel, and brother Laban listened carefully to the servant explain how God had led him to their house and to Rebekah. Everyone was amazed at this. And they were also happy when they heard how God had blessed their relative Abraham. He had left them a long time ago, and they were so happy that he still loved God like they did. Then the servant asked an important question. "Will you let Rebekah travel with me back to Canaan to marry Isaac?" Bethuel agreed that this was what God would want, so they said yes. Abraham's servant wanted to leave right away, but Rebekah's family did not want her to go yet. They finally said, "We will let Rebekah decide." Finding a wife for Isaac is one of, if not, the longest single narrative in the book of Genesis. This match was very important. It would set the tone of each generation after this. The future of what would become known as the Jewish people and the nation of Israel depended on men and women who faithfully followed God. establish strong families and pass their faith on to the next generations. Abraham entrusted the task to his chief servant. This man was possibly Eleazar of Damascus, as mentioned earlier in Genesis 15, 1 through 2. Abraham makes him swear by oath to find a wife for Isaac from among Abraham's relatives instead of from nearby Canaanite people who followed other gods. The unusual sealing this oath by placing the hand on the thigh would be seen again a few generations later when Jacob, Israel, asked Joseph to make an oath. Genesis 47:29 through 30. Join me again next week as we talk about deception is wrong and leads to hurt and anger.
Neha, it is I, Dave the Donkey, and today's verse is, honor your father and mother, Ephesians 6:2. And that's today's verse, kids. See y'all next time with another verse of the day. Neha.